What's going on, everybody? It's your man Bishop Bang, and welcome to another episode of It's Whatever with the Bishop. Magic Moments with the Mosley present. I got my co-host with me, Funny Man Jeff.
Yep.
And we is in the building. I got my brothers with me. I got my homeboy over there. He don't want me to call him my apostle.
Hey,
brother Keenan.
Bang bang anywhere, gang.
Rod in here. You know what I mean?
How y'all feeling?
Definitely feel blessed to have y'all in here on this Saturday. So how's everybody's weekend going?
So far, so good.
So far, so good.
Yeah, when you off, you know it's marvelous.
Okay. Oh, work. What's going on, man? I ain't seen you in a while.
I'm just chilling, man. I've been in the cave, man. People, speculating, but in the cave is a great place.
Okay,
you know what I mean?
Gotta let everybody, they know who Funny Man Jeff is. I'll let y'all introduce yourself. You know what I mean? Go ahead and introduce yourself to everybody.
Oh, this is home, man. It's been a while, but your boy's back.
Yep.
It's Keenan.
Yep.
Same thing, man. This is Sherrod. This is my first time here, man. But I'm looking forward to this great conversation, man, with brotherhood, and let's get it going.
All right. So my topic and my conversation that I wanted to bring before y'all was upbringing for the children in the home, and how important it is to what our kids see and what they see from, but not just what we say, because a lot of people justify their actions by, a lot of parents, we ain't gonna say people, parents justify as do as I say and not as I do, and we know, and I say it all the time, children are repetitive to what they see. They repeat what they see the parent doing, they will feel that it's okay, because the first people, if there's two-parent home, they're going to imitate is the parents. You should be the first example that they see in the home. So I'm going to open the floor. I want to know a little bit of, you have children, y'all all dads, and you hold a special role. So I want to let y'all go into it and explain what it is that you do in your home, or just on the subject in general and how important it is.
All right, we got two guests here, so listen, I'm gonna go first. I'm gonna just throw my stuff out there, and then y'all go ahead, because me and bro, we do this every week. So for me, as far as my upbringing, two-parent household, and I gotta give it up to my pops. I was born in '87, but in '91, he stopped the weed, he stopped the cigarettes, he stopped the drinking, he cleaned up, gave his life to the Lord, and he raised us on some straight up look. His whole thing was, if you end up doing the weed or the drinking, or if you end up doing that when you become an adult, you didn't get that from me. You saw a dad that went to work every day, had y'all in church, instilled some morals in y'all, and that was that. So that was my upbringing, which was cool, because I can't say that when I did start smoking weed in high school or started drinking later in high school or things of that nature, when I started partying and going to college, I didn't get that from Pops. It was the outside influence. And, me, that was curiosity that did that, because he did teach me right from wrong. You know what I'm saying? So now fast forward to me. A lot of y'all know my journey with fitness and with sobriety. So in about 2 weeks, I celebrate 8 months of sobriety. So it's real fitting that we're having this conversation, because I was the one where my kids did see me. They didn't see me falling over drunk, like all crazy drunk like in the movies, but they've seen me inebriated. Like they've seen me pouring up. And it's like, that shit's not cool. That was not the example I was trying to set, especially when they also see me doing comedy shows, doing work, doing side work, things of that nature. So it's like, I'm glad I got that part up out of me, and I hope that they are paying attention, like, my dad cleaned his act up, like, he's a stand-up guy. And then on the fitness standpoint, on the healthy living standpoint, it's like, I can't tell my sons that, you got to do some push-ups, or, you got to eat right, you got to do this, drink your water, and eat the vegetables if, I wasn't doing it. Right. So I just celebrated 8 months of consistent fitness, weight training, and all that good stuff. So now it's like, when I'm telling the oldest son, who's 13, who has football aspirations, you gotta get down, do your push-ups, or come in my gym in the basement, work out with me, or I made these vegetables to go with this chicken and this pasta. Like, you gotta eat the veggies too. Don't bring me back the plate. So it's like, but you see me doing it. You gotta drink your water. They see me doing it. So them examples, they're crucial for you to set them. And I'm gonna say this, and then we can pass it on, and of course engage the rest of the time. But it's like what you were saying. We're the first teachers, right? And yeah, it's always do as I say, not as I do. But you don't want to be the first person in your child's life that thinks you're full of shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
To that realization.
Yeah. Like, I could have told him, don't do as I'm doing. He's gonna go, no, you're full of shit then. How you gonna tell me not to do it and you're doing it?
And I wanna touch on something in that, and it's gonna be perfect for y'all because y'all in that upbringing, because that is for people that they'll see your parents in church one way and then you another way.
Yeah.
And that, I think that's real big and detrimental to a certain point, because once you grow up and you realize for yourself, then you'll be, But how you feel about that? Do as I say, and not as I do. Do you believe?
Oh, you want me to jump right into that?
Yeah. I mean, you start wherever you want. I just want to hear your opinion on the whole situation.
I think do as I say and not as I do there's a duality to that, right? Mm-hmm. So in certain things, it has to be that way because I'm the parent.
Right.
So I have to establish a relationship with you to let you know you can't do everything I do. I'm a grown up.
Right.
There's certain things you're going to witness me do.
Okay.
Either firsthand or secondhand that you cannot participate in yet.
Right.
Not necessarily because it's right or wrong, but because you're a child. You stay in a child's place. But for the most part, yeah, I'm the example. You do as I do until I tell you do as I say.
Okay.
Right? So that's how I feel about it. You can't just say, oh, it's 100% follow the leader.
Okay.
Because I'm an adult. I have to experience adult things.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to let my child dictate what I can and what I can't do in my own house.
Right, I got you.
But to a degree, I'm not going to be as flamboyant and showcase certain things in front of my kids.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So there may come a time where, like I said, either firsthand or secondhand, they might witness something.
Okay.
Or come up knowledge of something that might be going on.
Right.
But, by that time, I already have a rapport. Listen, I'm daddy.
Right.
That's mommy. We gonna do what we gonna do. This is what adults do.
Right.
You're a child.
Right.
I had a conversation with my son just it was either last night or the night before last. I said, son, your friends are losers. Word up. Your friends are losers. And this is what I meant when I said that. I said, because you are trying so hard to be accepted by people that don't care if you breathing or not. They're your friends on Snapchat. They don't comment on your pictures. They don't comment under them.
Artwork and stuff.
They're your friends on Xbox Live. They don't never request you to join. They join. You always got to ask to join. Like, yo,
right.
Why are you trying so hard to be with people who really don't care about you? Because I know the real you. You like to draw. You like cartoons. You like old music. You know what I'm saying? Like my son loved the Barge. Okay. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
He don't even know the new artist that's out right now.
Right.
So once they find out who you are, they're gonna think you're immature. They're gonna think you're a child, and they're gonna think that you're not ready to be what they are. But that's perfect. That's your lane. Okay. You're 13 years old.
Right. 13. Yeah, I got a 13-year-old. Yeah.
They trying to be 18 and 21.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I was going to do a Snapchat, and one of the young boys, I know the young boy. His parents in church. You know what I'm saying? So they come across as this, you know what I mean?
Right.
Mm-hmm. He's 13. He made a post, board ASF. Mm-hmm. I want an F. Mm-hmm. And I'm looking like, yo, I know son.
Right.
He ain't effing nothing. Right. He ain't even out there like that. But he's putting on this front and this facade to be cool.
Right.
I said, son, cool is relative. You're cool based on the perspective of who you're around.
Right.
If these people don't find you cool, find people who find you cool and what you like cool.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Quit chasing these suckers, man, because they're going to get you in trouble. They're going to steer you down the wrong road, and they're going to get you in trouble. You're cool. You have a dad that's having these conversations. I didn't have that.
Right.
I grew up with my mom. You know what I'm saying? My dad, you know how it is. So I grew up with my mom. I didn't have that. I was who he's trying to be now.
Okay.
I was the youngin in school that didn't care about school. I was famous. I was popular for rapping and, knocking them down. That's what I put my reputation upon. Rapping and knocking girls down. From middle school all the way through high school. So he's trying to be a reflection of who I was. And I'm telling you, no, son, that's not it.
You read right through it too.
So is that something that it's just him naturally, or is this?
It's naturally, as a kid, especially for a boy,
Okay.
to want to grow up around those who are considered the alpha,
Okay.
right? Because the cool kids in school, the so-called cool kids in school, they into that type of stuff.
Okay.
Like when you watch the TV shows, like I don't know if you ever seen like Euphoria or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? But when you watch these type of TV shows, it's the star athletes that be getting into all the sucker stuff. You know what I'm saying? And because he think it's cool, it's personified that it's cool, and everybody else want to rock.
Okay.
So as a boy, it's only natural to gravitate towards that because he's living a rock star life. Right. He got the girls chasing after him. He's the most popular one in school. So that's natural. But where we come in as fathers is to let them know that seems cool, but you got the rest of your life. You get 18, 21, girls are going to come so fast, you're not going to even be able to count them. That's what I told them. Like, yo, there's going to be an area and a time of your life, girls are going to kick down your door. You got time for that. And I'm not saying go through them, because I don't advocate that. What I'm saying is, right now should be about your studies and perfecting your art.
Your son in 8th grade? So right now,
he's going into 9th.
Yeah, my main thing with my son is this is your last year where these grades don't really count. So I'm trying to get him hip to, it's about these A's and B's, because you got 2 brothers coming behind you. We just had a daughter that was born. My goal is to make sure I got you financially for college, but realistically, you leave in 4 years, I ain't got it all the way for college. You got to earn them scholarships, but the world is yours, basically. So my whole thing is, starting next year, everything, it matters. It counts. These grades for the next 4 years is it. So you got to, I'm trying to get him to have good, I'm losing it. Habits. Good habits now. Form those good habits now. The studying habits, the being about school, like he still lacks putting his full name on his worksheets. Like, bro, come on, you need to get it together and focus. You know what I mean? So I'm glad you're talking about the girls and this and that, because my son thinks he's the most popular at his school, and it's dumbed down, like his focus on his studies. So we had to reel him back to reality. You know what I mean?
I think a lot of times too, one thing that we fail to realize is we don't appreciate what learning and what teaching is.
Okay.
I believe that teaching begins at home. Learning begins in school. And a lot of times we send our kids to go to school to learn. And what we don't realize is a person that is teaching them, they are a teacher. And a teacher is a person that is continually getting institutionalized from colleges. The only thing they're able to give to the kids is what the institution was given to them. So you're sending your child to school to get all of this information and all of this. What we forget, hold them accountable for being. I got this series. It's called "Are You a Potter or Are You a Teacher?" And a potter is one that begins to formulate. It begins to form. Everything about you begins to be imparted into that child. So a lot of times you can't take away. If a person was brought up a certain way, they gonna treat your child that way. They may say I love you. They may say I'm here for you. But when the heat comes, you see what I'm saying? They gonna give your child exactly who they are.
Okay.
And so we gotta go back to the foundation and identify with who we really are. See, an institution don't make you, it begins to train you, it begins to formulate a certain mentality in your mind. So as a man, what I do is, as a man, I had to sit back and I had to detox myself from everything that was passed down to me or everything that was given to me and kind of like force-fed to me. Because I never got a chance to discover. Okay. And see, when you discover something, it's almost like you almost inherit a secret. But that secret is yours. You see what I'm saying? And so what works for my dad, it ain't going to work for me in my generation. It just worked for him. So out of his fear, and he just wanted to give me something that he thought would work for me, but it was safe. But what was safe then ain't safe now because technology has changed. So many things have changed, and so what happens is you have to come into a different mindset and a different mentality. So that's an ongoing progression, and so. As men, what we have to do a lot of times, and I say as men because I'm speaking as a man, as men, we have to continue to evolve. We have to make amendments to the wrong. You know what I'm saying? We got to kind of formulate a right. You know, I'm not saying it's the exact right way for me that it is for your house. But what I'm saying is, as a man, we got to continue to figure out who we really are and what we really call here to do, what we really call here to stand for. Because if you're not willing to stand for what is right progressively, you're going to allow somebody else to force feed you what a man is. And they're going to formulate you and also your child. So your child is frustrated trying to be something that you want him to be instead of finding who he is.
Okay, I got you.
And once he finds who he is, he or she finds who they are, now you have a relationship. See what I'm saying? Now you transition into manhood, into boyhood, into manhood. Because there's still a child that exists in me. I'm sorry. Yes, sir.
I want to ask you a question then.
Yes, sir.
So do you think, well, from what you said, do you think that a lot of parents don't want their kids to find that because they was robbed of that? Do you think that, not that they do it necessarily, but do you think it doesn't matter because they wasn't given that chance?
That's a great point. I heard an artist say something. It was Nipsey, and he said, "You are something like you a genius, but you don't know it." You know what I'm saying? You haven't had a platform to really show it. You know what I'm saying? Right. And so, what is the genius? See, one thing I understand now was when I went to college for criminal justice, right? And so when I got out of college, I became a teacher just through coaching, right? And so when I went to this teaching conference, they was expressing like who wanted to be. It was 4 types of teachers, but all of them was pretty much academic driven, right? So they were saying who want to make an impact, and I'm the only one to raise my hand, and that was my genius right there. See, they were so concerned about the institutionalization of it.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And trying to get the kid to understand test taking and understand this is the way it's done. But those education changes daily. Right. But impact, it begins to check who you are. Okay. So in impact, you have to progress. In impact, you have to be authentic. In impact, you have to have a connection with a child that say, I don't know what he said, I don't know what he's saying, but I feel it. You understand what I'm saying? And so I think a lot of times we robbed of that in a sense. Okay. We robbed of the foundation of that, and where did it really start? Right. As far as the mindset. Yeah. And I think once you go back and you discover it, where it really started for you, you can begin to educate your family properly. You understand what I'm saying?
And it's sad because we don't get that until the end. Like it'd be late. It'd be late when you realize that. It was late for me. You know what I mean? It was real late. I was out there doing a bunch of stuff. It was late for me.
Right.
I feel that because it wasn't given to me. You see what I'm saying? So it was late for me, and that's why it's so important for me and my kids. My kids look different than every kid that's in there. That all the teachers in that whole school, my kids are different. And I don't gotta go explain that or say that. They see it. Their response to them, they see it. And it is important, like, yo, who you want to be. And that's important, giving them that and letting them know, like you tell your son, that's important. You know what I mean? That's serious. So that's my that's big to me and my kids, especially with my wife's background or how she was brought up. So that is, and me understanding that even if she knows it's important and she gives my kids the love that she didn't get, I give my kids that love, but I help birth their genius, whatever it is. And I feel that is the important thing. That's why I'm picky with choice words and what my kids see me words. Like, I don't use I can't in my house. You know what I mean? I feel if you try, you'll be able to do it. Even if it's not the best ability, you'll still be able to do it. Because you feeling like you can't do something, even if it's the small things in here, what are you going to do out there?
One thing I would say this. See, this is what sometimes, you like people that want to be real. And I say real, I'm just saying they let their true emotions come out.
Right.
One thing I would say, if you sitting in school with the mentality that you have and the passion that you have, that's aggression.
Right.
Right? So you just said that was your greatest genius, was your aggression.
Right.
Because your aggression now is, listen, I'm protecting what I now understand, right?
Right.
So what happens a lot of times now is that aggression is stolen. Because now I want you to be in that passive, I want you to be at a place of passivity, right?
Okay.
So I don't want you to be aggressive like that because now I'm intimidated.
Right.
So I'm gonna bring you back down to the
Right,
institutionalization of it, and you calm down.
Right.
I don't accept that genius in you.
Right.
So when we talk about his son, I'm not gonna accept the artistic aspect of you because I can't dictate that.
Right.
I can't control that.
Yeah.
That's something that's been given to you.
Yeah.
So if I can't control it, now how do I look at you?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it was a study. It was a study given, bro. It was a study given in Germany. It was a school, right? And they were transitioning from middle school to high school, right? So they had how they did it. When they brought the kids, they separated them by they use the actual word like dumb kids and excelling kids, right? Kids that excel. So the kids they viewed as dumb. They had them. They grouped them. And the kids they had as intelligent. They grouped them, right? So one person went in and they kind of flipped the system, right? So the kids they were viewing as dumb, they put them as educated. When they were saying that as educated, they put them as dumb. So when those kids came, teachers didn't know. It was somebody went in administratively and did that. Teachers didn't know. So the teachers thought that they were getting the teachers that thought they were getting the intelligent kids. They really was getting who they thought who was the dumb kids,
Right.
and vice versa, right? So what happened was, and this goes to show you mentality. This is what I'm saying. If you look at a certain group of people a certain way, you're going to give them or you're going to treat them. You're going to have patience in that way. So 6 months went by. The kids that they were viewing as dumb, they excelled exceedingly. And the kids that they viewed was intelligent, they went to teachers that had them in the dumb, they decreased. They declined, right? And so how does that happen? How is it that a child that you viewed as dumb and that stigma was on that child, but you didn't know they were considered to be dumb? You know what I'm saying? So you taught them differently. You accepted them differently. See what I'm saying? You work with them differently. How many times has that situation happened over generations and generations and generations and generations? And that's what I'm saying to you. If we put that responsibility and we put that type of ownership into their hands, then that's the product you're going to get out of that.
Right,
you see what I'm saying? So now what I understand is now education can be it's a self-taught because books are available. Right. You know what I'm saying? And so when you're talking about, you said let the mind that's in Christ also be in me, right? So if the mind of Christ is progression, you know what I'm saying? He don't have no limited nature. So how do I have a limited nature? I don't have a limited nature. All I have to do is I gotta have a confidence and a willingness to discover. And if I can have a willingness to discover, I'm going to continually get it on the level in which I'm accepting it. So that's what I tell kids now in school. I'm saying to you, man, once you identify you have a genius, my responsibility is just to protect it. My responsibility is to give you a platform to build it. You know what I'm saying? It's just one of those things where that father thing come out where I'm just hovering.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to dictate. I'm just hovering. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, listen, my young boy get it, I'm going to make sure he get it.
Right.
So that's your mentality. I guarantee you right now, for young boy, you're going to be like, hey, back up off of him and make sure he good.
Right, yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's our nature.
Right.
So why is that nature not exemplified in all aspects? Why is it that it's only with our child?
Right.
Why is it that it's only with our child? Why is it that when somebody's being done wrong and they in a childlike state, even though they're a grown man, we don't say, yo, that's not right. You ain't gonna do that like that. You know why? Because we get institutional in the mind, and we say that's acceptable. It depends on what it is in certain areas, in certain arenas. It's acceptable. So now what happens is we begin to allow leaders to be in a certain space, or allow people that is leading people to be in a certain space, in a certain place. You know what I'm saying? That they are the ones that's
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Looked at like bad. Right. But if you let them go over 10 years, that's a long time, bro.
Yeah,
that's a decade of somebody. You know what I mean?
Saying, yeah.
That's dangerous.
Yeah. Yeah. It's it's deep then, because then you're gonna have to spend time. You're gonna have to spend just as much time getting it out.
And most people, when you get frustrated, the first thing you do is you be operating aggression. And when you operate in aggression, the same institution that taught you is the same one that's going to put you in bondage.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And so if you're aggressive and you don't really know how to explain it,
right.
or you accepting it as something that I ain't really looking at it like that. I'm sorry, I'm passionate about what I'm saying.
Right.
All of a sudden now you do something that is aggressive, and now you go to jail.
Yeah.
And so now that genius is now taken away from you, because now you can't utilize that because you have a paper trail that says you can't do certain things.
Right.
So now that frustration is going to be passed down to the child, and now you can't even teach them. You like, man, my frustration is so deep that I can't even give something to you because I'm
right, and then we don't have a chance, and because that's us in the next jail.
That's see what I'm saying?
That's areas.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bunch. And if your neighbor's like that, and then the neighbor next to them,
and they keep everybody, but you want to. You see what I'm saying? They keep you together.
Yeah.
That's what projects are for. That's what those small places are for.
Yeah.
And so but see, the thing about it is, see, you look at this and you look at who's now coming into the projects. You may look at Hispanic, you may look at, but they already set in their culture. So they ain't looking at it as we looking at it. They ain't looking at it as demoralizing and tearing up. They saying, listen, this is an opportunity for us to all be together.
Yeah.
So if you need, we good.
Right.
But we had that to a certain extent, but it was an infiltration of the drugs, the alcohol, easily accessible to our parents. You see what I'm saying? So you can go over my mom's crib, you can go over Miss Deb's crib, get whatever you want. I can go next door, get whatever I want.
Yeah.
That element was there, but there was an overshadowing element of the drug epidemic. And now, see what I'm saying? I'm going through pain. So I can't go get medication for the pain. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna have to go get what? The medication that was sent into the community. I'm gonna have to go get that for the pain.
Right.
So when I go get that, it's going to affect my children because they operate through learned behavior. And it's taking me away from really indoctrinating them with who I really am. Not indoctrinating them, but who I really am. Son, listen, this is a nurturing. I'm going to hug you unpervertedly. When they get on those drugs, alcohol, they're going to hug you pervertedly. Right. So now you infiltrated with perversion and you don't even really know it. So you get to act that out years and years and years. And then you like, yo, what's going on with me, man? And they try to knock it out of you. You like, yo, hold on. It's a fiber. It's a generational fiber that I got to really identify. And once you identify with that, bro, it's like, you get to a point where you say, you know what, man? Wow, I'm not chasing no more. Chasing and discovering two different things. See, chasing something, you may not really understand what you really chasing.
Right.
It may be a desire.
Right.
But when you trying to discover something, you hungry, you starving for something that is great. See what I'm saying? So now you like, yo, you really intentful on what it is that you
different field. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so that's the great thing about it. And that's what helps you become. You know what I'm saying? That's what helps you become and be in the place where you're now stable. See, what we view as stability ain't really stability, bro.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Like I look at a lot of teachers at work, I'm like, yo, woo. If you only knew what you were sending your student to school to get, you see what I'm saying?
Right.
We can always point the front, but if you only knew what it is that woman or man was giving to your child, or what they were unable to give your child each and every day, and you wonder why your child is frustrated and don't want to go, and you saying you want to go, it's like we fighting and we don't really know because we don't know ourselves. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So if I know myself, I don't care what you trying to teach them. I don't understand. It's a conditioning.
Yeah.
We all need some conditioning, but I know what I teach them in the home, and that's why I always tell husband and wives or people that's together, don't fight each other.
Right.
Teach at home. Don't fight each other. You got an element that I don't have. You know what I'm saying? Don't fight my element. Don't try to slide into my shoes. You can't fit mine. I can't fit yours.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It was never meant to be like that.
Do your part.
Let's and that's what I say. The respect aspect. You may not. I ask the question. Would you ever understand something you don't respect? You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Sometimes people don't respect you because they're not willing to understand, bruh. So they will go a whole generation or decades or years or days and continue to disrespect you instead of understanding you.
And I think it's an ignorance not wanting to understand.
Through background. Fear. You know what I'm saying? I have a fear to understand. I have a fear to accept something different and something new. You know what I'm saying? Because if I do that, you see what I'm saying? I gotta walk around here and I gotta be, because I can't control it.
And then you might see a mirror.
We do see the mirror.
Yeah.
That's why we don't want to look at it, because it hurts.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Pain is real.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Hey, man.
I think this is why I sobered up though, man, because I was drinking a lot of it out of pain, and then I had to step back and get therapy and work on my health and get back closer with the Lord. You know what I mean? Get back on my game and all my facets and aspects of life, so that I can be a real father, not just a provider. You know what I mean? Because I have a son who's 13, who he's my stepson, but that's my son. So it's like, his father's deceased. So there's like, I got some work I'm gonna have to do when he's older, man. Right now he's still a kid, but it's happening. I got with his mom. He was 9. He's 13. So it's like that grown man phase is coming. And then I got 2 younger sons where me and their mother, we don't get along at all. And it's all, and I don't want to get in detail, but if you can only imagine like the cleanup I'm gonna have to do through me and her not getting along. So it's like I gotta be right fully within me so that I could be prepared to be a true father. See, not taking anything from my father, my biological father, my pops. He was a hell of a provider, but we didn't have the drug talk. We didn't have the sex talk. We didn't have the talk about credit and financial literacy. None of that. So it's like, I used to wish as I got older, why the hell didn't you tell me about some of this stuff? So I had to get away from that negative aspect of beating him down. I didn't never tell him, just I internalized it. To now it's like, okay, now I'm a provider, which he was, pay the bills, buy you guys what you need. Now, I have to add what he didn't give you. Now, well, do it. That's how you break, I'm assuming that's how you break the generational curses. You know what I mean? I'm providing now. All right, we got to have this condom talk. We got to have, save your money. Don't, if you're going to get a credit card, if you ain't got a job to back that up, don't do it. If we're going to do some student loans, man, that needs to be your main focus, to pay them things back after school. Like, just certain stuff like that. Like girls, like how to deal with the heartbreak, because when you don't get taught how to deal with heartbreak, that's how some dudes become stalkers and shit. Like, you know what I mean? You just draw with like you said, you got plenty of time for it, man. Like, but you gotta have those talks.
I have a question, and maybe it can be answered. So, with what you said, because see, you're finding your way, and you had then, I ain't gonna call it rock bottom, but you wanted. I mean, yeah, but you wanted you. Plus, your potential, you know to be better.
Yeah,
like that's just for those that's in them areas that bunched in. Because see, it's going to keep going because their kids are going to have kids, and it's going to be the same. Now, it's not the same because I'm different, but it took a while, and then you'll find. So we know that some people rise up out of it. How do we get our parents, our young adults, to realize the difference that they need to still be healed and find their passion and get back on track? How would you think it has to be important? See, because it's important to you, but your kids are around kids that are not. So just saying, because I know we're fine, but what would you think would be? Is it because you might not have the tools? You see what I'm saying? Because like with they're in the schools, and it's making it hard for the other kids to learn. We know that. They're getting a reputation, and instead of looking at why is it like that, they're never going to understand this. No one's going to pay attention. They're going to see test numbers, and they're going to see all those things. But to me, it's bigger than outside of school, because these are the ones that's out here killing, harming their own children. And that's why I brought up the children, because within these last couple weeks, people have been getting prosecuted for killing their babies, or even accidents, negligence, whatever you want to say. But there's no, I feel no one's serious. I feel with the internet, social media, everything's a facade. You see what I'm saying? Until it's time to live beyond the phone in real life, and then you see it. I see it every day. You hear it in the language, like we was talking about the kids in the school, him cussing at the teacher, and just
that was sickening, man.
Just the respect thing, you know.
So this, I mean, I called my son friends losers, right? But here's the thing, though. I said it to him,
right,
because I wanted him to get a clear picture of what I was trying to say. Do I necessarily think they're losers? No. I think they're lost, which is two completely different things.
Right.
But I explained it to them as being losers, right? Because they're developing a characteristic of someone who is a loser. I was a loser because I didn't win at life in that particular section of my life.
Right.
I lost because I made the wrong decision, right? So that goes into what I'm about to say next. Your kids are going to get taught whether you choose to teach them or not.
Mm-hmm.
So it's best that you do the teaching than to allow either a system or allow a culture
Mm-hmm.
to do the teaching.
Because everybody might not get him.
Bro, everybody's not going to get him.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, I went to Casa the other night. They had like an open house. I don't know if y'all familiar with Casa.
Capital Area School of Performing Arts or some.
Absolutely.
Right.
And I was in there in awe. Like, I was in there listening to the teachers break down. We went to, the theater.
Mm-hmm.
We went to the art.
Mm-hmm.
We went to the music. I was in awe. Like, my dad was like, yo, you act like you're back in school again. Like, you're point on the teacher. And I was like, yo, because imagine me in an area that could have nurtured and matured
If you had the opportunity.
what I was hungry after.
Mm-hmm.
I was a musician even in school.
Mm-hmm.
I rap. I love music. I was more into the arts, like my son is. It's just in a different area.
Right.
But I was more into the art. So imagine a scenario where I could have spent 4 hours a day perfecting my art and my craft and my mental capacity in that area, and did 2-3 hours a day
School.
math,
Yes,
stuff that we don't really use, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Let's keep it $1.50.
Mm-hmm.
Middle school teaching is the most education an average person use on a day-to-day basis. High school teaching is predominantly for those who are seeking to go into college and extend professions, right? The average person doesn't really need to advance past middle
I'm in the
school
construction field, and you know what? I feel where you're coming from. You are right. Because in the construction field, like, now it depends on what now it depends on if you get to electrician. So me, I'm more into drywall and all that. All you gotta know how to do is read the tape, baby.
And just think, instead of going to high school where you're constantly in, all these classes you don't necessarily need, you go to Voltaire.
They need to bring that back in the Harrisburg School District.
So I got a question for you as I'm sitting here listening. How do you know when you're a man? What is it based on age, or is it based on maturity, or is it based on
I'm
experience?
gonna say age, hell no. Because I'm 32, right? I just turned 32 back in March. I feel like within the last year or this year, I could finally say I'm a man now.
Okay. How do you know, and I'm asking the same question in the sense of, how do you know when you are a arrived student per se? Is there an age on it? See, this is what I'm saying. As a parent, our responsibility is to identify the genius. Right. And I think that a lot of time we fight against that because we're so used to passed down, it has to be this way. We get taken to systems. We get taken there because when you take into a system, it is regulations. So as long as I can regulate your mind, I got you. So I asked the person the other day, I asked the person, and this question is kind of deep, and I said, is God, or you want to say the mind of God, is it predictable? Is the mind of God predictable? And that's for anybody. I'm not this, I'm just asking the question. Is the mind of God predictable? We don't have to go into no deep, but I'm just saying, is the mind of God predictable?
I'm going to say no.
Mm-hmm.
The Bible says your ways are far from mine,
Okay.
and so is your thoughts.
Right. So if God's mind is not predictable, he said that the mind that's in Christ also in us, he made us in image and likeness. How is it that I can start to regulate and my mind becomes what? Predictable.
Yeah.
How can you put me in a regulated place where my mind becomes predictable? At that point, you just stole who I am. You just stole the genius. So I'm trying to find the genius through the system. It wasn't set up like that.
Right.
So I'm going to find my genius in accepting me. So even if my genius is weight training, even if my genius is understand that I have muscles that you may not have, I have consistency that you may not have. If that's my genius, that's what my genius is. That may just be my delivery to the world. That's it. It ain't about the money. It ain't about trying to please nobody. That's how we get stuck. It's about, listen, I'm content with just being a person that can bring inspiration. And so I gotta find the inspiration every single day, be in that moment every single day. See, let me tell you something. If you're not in the moment, you accept the strategy of somebody in a room dictating your own mind. It's like a remote control. You're not going to control my mind because I'm not allowing that connection to take place. I'm not on that frequency. I'm not on that channel. I'm on the channel of the Spirit of God. So now I understand. Listen, man, I got wrongs and I got rights, but I'm saying that every day I'm in the moment of evaluation and assessment. Where am I at? Am I accepting who I am? So I don't need you to tell me who I am. I don't need you to tell me if I'm right or if I'm wrong. I'm saying, listen, man, I'm letting the regulation of what's in me, you know what I'm saying, be the regulator. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm thankful, man, that I'm able to experience that and see it that way. And that's what I give to the children. Listen, I'm not trying to control. I'm not trying to push nothing, man. You're going to have to discover some things on your own. But what I will do is I will give you principle.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So at the home, the teaching aspect is principle. You know what I'm saying? The principle aspect of it, man, is what's most important. So if I take away your principle, I take away your dignity.
Right.
So now I don't care what your mom or dad teaching you at home. Right. You see what I'm saying? It don't apply to here. Right. So a child will say, oh man, you're right, because this is more important than what's at home. Right. You see what I'm saying? But if you begin to accept who your father is and who your mother is, you may not like what they do, but who they are going to give you something that will change.
Right. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Change your life forever. It's going to continue to evolve. I had a young boy in my classroom the other day, and he was sitting there. I said, man, something's wrong with you. He was like, nah, I'm cool. Something's wrong with you, man. Been there, done that.
I hate that.
And so his problem was everybody died. His father died. His mom died. His aunt died. Who he said was his mom, she died. It was his cousin. She died. And I'm like, dang, you ain't handling death. The Bible says that there's a time, and Ecclesiastes says there's a time to mourn. You know what I'm saying? But there's a time for it, there's a space for it. If you overdo it, you get caught in that space. Right. You see what I'm saying? So you out of the moment. You stuck there, right? So I'm saying he's stuck in a place where it doesn't matter what anybody try to teach him. He's not gonna get it. There's a wall, right? So I said I gotta break down the wall. That's my genius. Right. So I gotta break down the wall. So young man, you ain't going to class today. You're gonna spend one-on-one with me, and I'm not gonna teach you anything per se. I'm gonna allow you to discover some things, right? Yeah. So he was on the computer, and he was looking up. He looked up his dad's obituary, then his aunt's obituary, and he kept looking. I said, okay, I'm gonna give him some space. Okay, so every time he looked at it, I'll leave the room. Just give him space. And so I'll leave the room. I guarantee he probably cried a little bit. And when he came back, I said, let me share something with you, because I want to cry with you. You know what I'm saying? I want to be in the moment with you. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to show you that a man can cry, right? So I'm going to share with you an experience that I've dealt with that makes me cry. You see what I'm saying? So I'm not going to blow it. I'm just going to be in the moment with you, right? So I got in the moment with him, and he didn't respond the way, you know what I mean? But he responded the way he responded, right? But what I'm saying to that means is this. That young man is not being taught how to properly mourn and how to accept death. Right. You see what I'm saying? He keep thinking this is a bad thing. And I said, even though your mother and your father may have done bad things, everybody are saying good about them. That's what funerals are all about. Right. The good is passed on. Yeah. I said, your father, he said all these good things about your father. That's who you are. The bad things of the behavior, they accept it. You don't have to accept that. Right. But you have to accept the good, because the good is who you are. Right. You see what I'm saying? And so when I begin to say that, he like, man, they say all these good things about my aunt and my dad. Man, I said, yes, that's who you are. So now let's discover. Every day you try to be funny and you try to be that guy that's funny, but I said you overdoing it. But I said it's the element is in you, the DNA of that is in you. So I said, now look, they pass it on to you. Now carry that out, and now it's going to help you to mourn properly. You see what I'm saying? Carry out the good of them, and now there's going to be a consistency or a continual smile, and now you're going to feel the joy.
When you learn how to switch focus.
There you go.
There you go. It's going to carry you. You'll learn to do that in other aspects.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now you can go and you can get taught.
Yeah.
Now you can go and you can get learning without being contaminated.
Yeah. And that thing's going to open it up that you'll understand.
All you're getting.
Yeah.
The process.
Yeah.
We'll come back next week.
But yeah, man, we're going to wrap it up a little bit. I appreciate you, man. Definitely appreciate it.
Yo, hold on real quick.
Go ahead.
Because we didn't really touch on this too much. But like the things you say, like I got in the habit of like, if my son asks for something, like we broke, like we ain't got it. Like, granted, we wasn't broke, but then again, money goes towards bills, so it's like. But my whole thing is like he don't need to know.
Yeah.
I'm learning he don't need to know what's going on.
Yeah, just know.
Not this week, brother. Yeah. I had to stop doing that because he pissed me off one time, and it was only my fault. Oh, I forgot we're broke, and I was going, but I'm like, don't you ever call me broke? But it's like you put that out there in the atmosphere, though.
Yeah.
Even though you didn't probably want to break down like why you couldn't get something from him, you know, you couldn't get him what he wanted.
I think you should though, especially depending on the age of the child. If it's
He was 13.
Absolutely. Go over the house budget.
I did that.
And
was that okay? Now, I'm glad we got a couple minutes left. Now, my mother-in-law says, don't do that. He's still a kid. But in my mind, I'm like, he's 13. He needs to understand that, like, bruh, the cell phone you got, there's a bill for that. This cable you watch, the internet you have, there's a bill for that.
That type of thinking that type of thinking is detrimental. If we wait till a kid already establishes bad habit to then teach them good things, he's stuck in that habit. Now he has to break that bad habit and inherit a new habit. It's so much easier before a kid develop a bad spending habit, horrible credit, horrible this and that. It's so much better to establish good things
at a young age, right?
At the young age, so that once they advance and able to start making their own path in life, they don't detour. Because if I never tell you about credit, because I think you're too young to know about what you know about it. You in high school, you ain't got no job, you ain't bringing in no money. Why should I teach you about credit? Why should I teach you about balancing a checkbook?
Right.
Your outgoing and your
By the time
income.
you face it, you don't know what the hell you're doing.
Taxes.
Right.
Why? Bro, listen, I got married when I was 19 years old. I started a family at 19 years old. So, like, it's been real. Right? I didn't know how to balance a checkbook. I didn't even know. Listen, I was swiping debit cards and all that, and I'm like, bro, they ain't take this money out. I got over on them. I'm about to take this money out.
Later, here it comes,
bro. So now that money that was pending, that they penned it for a little bit and then released it, and it was still showing in my account. I took that money and I spent it somewhere else. Because I thought I was like, oh, they slept. They ain't take the money out. They let it go. 2 days later, now double the money.
Yeah, overdrafts and this and that.
Double the money. You know what I'm saying? So it's just stuff like that. So absolutely, 13 years old, show them. Show them. I mean, you ain't got to show them exactly how much is in the account and all that, but show them, yo, this is how much our bills are. This is how much, your dad make. This is how much your mom make. This is what we're doing. Right. So when I tell you we ain't got it, it's not because we're broke.
Yeah.
It's not because I don't want to give it to you. There's more important things at the moment that we need. Right. That understanding develops a mature mind. I want these Jordans, but there's more important things that I can do with this bread. I can always get Jordans. Let me get this more important stuff out of them.
I'm glad a week ago he settled for the Vans. If they ain't got Vans around for these middle school, high school kids, I'm like, see, thank you. Because one day, with the things I'm trying to do entrepreneurship wise and all that, like the Jordans won't be nothing for me to get for you. But for right now, I ain't got it. But if you can work with me, I'll work with you. But you always whined about Wi-Fi. You got that. You wanted your iPhone. It ain't the most up-to-date iPhone, but you got one. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you like to eat. You always got food. Like, you didn't like going to Roland. You ain't like living in Swatter Street with all the mice and stuff. So we made the sacrifice to move out into the suburbs. That elevated our cost of living. You know what I'm saying? Like, we had one car before. Now we got a couple cars. Like, hey man, there was time me and my wife actually had 0 cars. So it's like, it's cost. So I'm glad you said that. I guess, I don't got to tell them to a T what we got, but.
No. Give him an avenue to fund what he wants. Give him an avenue. Listen, I'm not
paying you. Coming to work with me with side jobs. If I gotta do some quick painting or something, you're coming. Even if it's just you helping me move a bench around.
There we go. I'm not paying you to do dishes. I'm not paying you to take the trash out.
You got that phone right there.
Bro, it's not even that. If you had no phone, if you had no Xbox, you live here.
True.
So I'm developing a mindset that you take care of where you live, regardless. We don't have chores. It's just something you do.
To do.
This is about humanhood.
He used to always say you got like when I first got with his mom or whatever, like he took the trash out or did some dishes or something of that nature. You owe me money. Yo, I used to be like, I don't owe you shit. I just paid this rent. Like, that's the least you can do. And then we got a dishwasher. Like, bruh, I used to have to bust them. Your parents ever said, go bust them suds? I used to have to bust the suds. All you gotta do is load and unload, buddy. That is it. I don't owe you nothing.
See, the part of the strategy, that's what I'm saying. What's a child? What is a child?
Right.
Because see, if something happened to you or your wife,
Mm-hmm.
is the child able to give up the strategy so that y'all can get the help that you need? You have to involve the child because the child's perspective can be what you're missing. So if the child may say one simple thing, and one element of that can be the glue that connects the financial, literacy of it all. So you have to allow the child to be a part of the strategy because y'all family.
Mm-hmm.
This is where I think we mess up. That's where fear coming at. We keep the child away from the strategy, and then later on they don't know how to run a family, and then the frustration, first pride, then the falls, and the frustration produces a pride, and then the family falls, and that continues to go on and go on and go on and go on. So that's what I'm saying is this intelligence are within. So in the moment, in strategizing, he or she will begin to explore that intelligence that's within. It's just based on the conversation. Like right now, based on the conversation, we didn't go over nothing, but based on the conversation and the way it was stimulated, we begin to formulate a thought that came from within.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So the child would do the same thing. He's got to let him have that liberty. Give him the liberty to be a child, but also give him the liberty to understand. Don't restrict them as a child and regulate his mind as a child. Let the mind of the child go.
A couple more minutes, right? My son is entering a part of his life that was hard as hell for me, and is one of the things that it tore me up. And I'm just now bouncing back from it as a grown man. He's at that age where you're not a little boy anymore, but you are not a man yet. And I feel he's entering that 13. You know what I mean? Like, I can't treat you like I can't collar you. I can't. No, you know what I mean? Like, but I can't give you the keys to go drive the car. I can't put a heavy responsibility on you. You know what I'm saying? So, and he's finding that way. So with me, I'm trying to be a parent, but also trying to be someone who's understanding. With
Why can't you give him the keys to drive the car? See, that's the regulation. When I taught in Virginia, right, and it was a royal. See, it's like they call it the off grid, and all them young boys knew how to drive. I'm talking about elementary was driving the truck that they say only for farming. That's the hidden thing. See, they understand the strategy. If we put on there just for farming, anybody can drive it. You can be so you can handle responsibility. Jewish, they're grown men at 13. They said them on a mission. But why is it that we don't? Yeah. We too. Oh, now we gotta wait. You ain't a man yet. Well, how do you know?
Yeah.
He ain't ready for that responsibility, and then getting that responsibility. Now, see, regulations are put in place though, so you might have to do it where he may not be driving on the street, but you may go take him to drive in a place where. See what I'm saying? This so he'll get used to. You know what? I got the responsibility. So then another aspect of him will come out that he won't be feeling the regulation. He'll be like, you know what? I can do this, even though there's laws put in place. I'm gonna abide by the law, but I'm also gonna be me as a man.
And then when my time comes, I'm
prepared.
Yeah, I learned how to drive at 12. My mom taught us.
Yeah.
She ain't wait. We ain't just take her car number, but we knew how. So by the time I got into high school and driver's ed, I aced it. I had my license at 15.
No shit.
Yeah, so it was got in there one time and so you know, it's definitely important. But we definitely appreciate y'all, man. I appreciate you.
This was needed.
You know what I mean? I definitely grew a lot, and I appreciate you. He never disappoints me. You know what I mean? I appreciate my apostle Keenan over there. What up, brother, man?
It's all good.
I appreciate y'all for stopping through on this Saturday, taking a minute to come through and bless us with your presence and your knowledge. And we just thankful for you, man. Thankful for the grind that you're out there, because you know that there's like minds. I used to feel like I ain't know nobody. I ain't had nobody that thought like, and then I met him, and I had him, and it was like more people started popping up. And then I felt like I'm not the only one that think like that, so I don't find it strange.
Right.
Because if you ain't thinking like where you come from, they like, oh, bro, tripping, he on something else. So, you know what I mean? I just be like, you know, hey, it is what it is.
That's right.
You know what I mean? I'm gonna be here for you.
That's
though,
right.
So I see the benefits. So I just appreciate y'all. Appreciate all that I grow and learn from you. And I know our listeners is thankful, and we appreciate y'all too for listening and checking us out, leaving your comments and your responses. Greatly appreciate it. And just keep listening. Have a good weekend. Stay safe and peace.